Chapter 6. Sunday afternoon, Max left ahead of Papa to meet Chuy at the field. He stopped at the store to buy 2 pieces of leche quemada, which he shoved in the pocket of his shorts for later when he and Chuy could celebrate their new summer jobs. "Max!" Chuy jogged toward him. "What'd your father say?" "Probably the same as your parents." "No, but he said you and I could be his apprentices this summer. He'll pay us." Max laid out the whole plan of working on weekdays and going to the secret water hole on weekends. Chuy hung his head and stared at the ground. "What's wrong?" asked Max. "I'm going to the clinic." "Your parents said yes?" He nodded and looked apologetic. "I was surprised, but they think it's a great opportunity because they never have money for things like that. Guillermo's going too. Why can't you come?" Disappointment smothered Max all over again. "You know, Papa, he worries about everything. He said he and Buelo could train me as well as anyone else." "Well, that's true, but it won't be the same without you. Can't you convince him to change his mind? Maybe if you tell him my parents said yes." Max shook his head and tried not to cry. Once Papa's mind was set, there's no changing it. He stared up at the white clouds and watched his summer, his friends, all his plans drift away. "It's okay, hermano. I promise I'll remember all the fancy drills so we can practice together on the weekends," Chuy tried to console him. "And we can still go to the water hole." Max nodded and avoided Chuy's eyes. He choked out his words. Do you want to practice?" "I can't. I only came to tell you Ortiz invited all of us to stay at his cousin's tonight and have dinner with the new coach. I have to watch my 3 sisters before I catch the bus, but meet at the Fork on Saturday, 3 o'clock? "Sure." Max put his hand in his pocket and felt the leche quemada. Even through the wax paper, he could tell the candy had already flattened and started to crumble. He didn't even bother to offer it to Chuy. When Chuy turned to leave, he almost toppled Papa. "Oh, nice to see you, Chuy. Ready to chase some balls?" "Sorry, Senor Cordova, I can't today," and he ran off. "Where's he going?" Tears stung Max's eyes. "You were wrong. His parents said yes to the clinic. They said it was a great opportunity. Guillermo's parents said yes, too. And Chuy and Guillermo get to have dinner with the new coach tonight. You never let me do anything or go anywhere on my own." "Max, when you're older..." "What does that even mean? When will I ever be old enough?" "In time, I promise. And don't worry about Chuy." Papa held up 2 fingers and pressed them together. "You two will always be like brothers." Max frowned. "Until he and Guille and Ortiz make the team and I don't." "You'll practice, hijo. You'll do your best. And then what will be, I know, Papa, what will be, will be." Max hung his head. He dropped the ball and dribbled it out onto the field. He didn't want Papa to see him crying or lecture him to act like a man, especially when he treated him like a baby. He dribbled the ball from one end of the field to the other and back again, and finally he passed it to Papa. "Let's do some drills. You said Ortiz was better at kicking and throwing, so we'll practice throwing. Do you know that can be even more accurate than kicking?" Max shook his head, grateful Papa didn't mention his red eyes. "Well, it's true. Get in the box and I'll toss some balls at you. You can save the shot and then immediately bring back your throwing arm and with your non-throwing arm point it down the field where you want the ball to go and then using all your strength heave it. The top goalies can throw half the length of the field. Afterward, we can practice shooting on goal, just in case you want to play forward." Max went through the motions, but his heart wasn't in it. He imagined Chuy, Guillermo, and Ortiz on the bus every day together and all the fun they'd have at the clinic making friends with boys from other towns and how they'd meet Coach Cruz before the tryouts. All of that without him. "Max," called Papa. He was so lost in misery that he didn't even realize that Papa had stopped throwing balls. He waved Max forward and put a protective arm around him. "Today isn't a good day for concentrating, but I've been thinking about what you asked me yesterday." Max looked up. "Hijo, I could use your help at the ruins tomorrow." But you said it was no place for a boy. Yes, and you reminded me you're almost 12. Maybe that's old enough. Really? Max knew Papa was just trying to take away the sting from not going to the clinic. But still, Max would be the first boy to ever cross the gates. It wasn't much, but it was something. Thank you. Papa tousled Max's hair. You might not thank me after you realize what hard work it is.